Since our last hearing on this issue in May, the Jewish community has experienced more devastating losses, including the fatal shooting in Washington, D.C. of 2 Israeli embassy employees and the Molotov cocktail attack on peaceful marchers in Boulder, Colorado. As I have said before in this committee, there has been an undeniable rise in anti-Semitism and hate speech across the country and around the globe. Jewish students and all students deserve to feel safe and be safe on college campuses and everywhere. No one should be afraid of harassment or discrimination because of their faith. And I have said before that if the majority wanted to fight anti-Semitism and protect Jewish students, they should condemn anti-Semitism in their own party and at the highest level of government. They have failed to do so. Multiple White House officials have ties to anti-Semitic extremists. This includes the current liaison to the Department of Homeland Security, the communications director for the Office of Management and Budget, and the press secretary of the Department of Defense, who posted Nazi slogans on her personal social media accounts and promoted the anti-Semitic Great Replacement conspiracy theory. The leader of President Trump's so-called anti-Semitism task force actually talked about revoking Jew cards and shared a post on social media from the former leader of a white supremacist organization that called for the, quote, Nazification of America. Donald Trump has continued to spout anti-Semitic venom, most recently at a rally where he said, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. He tried to walk back those statements, saying incredulously that he had never heard the term Shylock used in an anti-Semitic way. Words matter, and the President of the United States should not be using words, especially anti-Semitic tropes, if he does not know what they mean. Have any Republican colleagues here today condemned these acts of anti-Semitism from the President and members of the administration, or called for removal of these individuals from office? No, because that would require real and meaningful commitment to rooting out anti-Semitism from the top down. Instead, my colleagues are weaponizing the real problems of the Jewish community, a community I am an active member of, in furtherance of their attacks on and plans to defund colleges and universities. As members of this committee, we sit with the responsibility of enacting policies that best educate our youth, and this ongoing attack on higher education is shameful. As Mr. Nosenchek so compellingly testified, combating the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses requires investing in the Office for Civil Rights, an agency dedicated to investigating and resolving civil rights violations, including anti-Semitic incidences at schools and universities. But instead of supporting that office, Secretary McMahon has already fired about half of OCR's staff and closed 7 of their 12, more than half of their regional offices. Republicans have said nothing. In the past months, what's left of OCR dismissed a staggering more than 3,400 cases, but again, Republicans say nothing. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice recently slashed hate crime prevention grants, claiming they do not align with the administration's priorities. Will my Republican colleagues stand against the ongoing attacks on the Office for Civil Rights? And what about the hate crime prevention grants? Will any Republican colleagues advocate for these funds to be reinstated? Of course not. That would be real action. Why do that when we can create another political sideshow instead? Education has always played a significant role in the efforts to end anti-Semitism, but that's not what this committee has been doing. With drastic budget cuts, the hiring of bigoted individuals at the highest levels, the embrace of white Christian nationalism, and, I might say, in stark contrast to Jewish values, the abhorrent failure to respect basic human and constitutional rights, this administration is creating a culture of disrespect and danger, not just for Jewish students. Perhaps that should be the focus of this hearing. Additionally, instead of giving OCR the staff and resources they need to do the fact-based Title VI investigation, the Trump administration has actually withheld hundreds of millions of dollars from colleges and universities, apparently to punish for them rather than address anti-Semitism. But this kind of imposition of collective punishment hurts all students, including Jewish students, because it will lead to fewer academic options and higher tuition. I wonder if that isn't the point. As I have said before and will continue to repeat, I am a member of the Congressional Jewish Caucus. I am a mother who raised her children in a Jewish home. I'm an active member of my synagogue. I am extremely disappointed in the majority for exploiting my community's legitimate fears and concerns as they advance discriminatory, regressive, unconstitutional, and harmful policy. Jewish Americans and the American people deserve better. I yield back.
Gentlelady's time has expired. Now recognize the Chairwoman Emeritus of this committee, Representative Fox.